Okay, so coming back to the book. So we just entered in a regular employee's timesheet. But not only can you only keep track of your employees, you can also keep track of either the business owners or the partners' time as well. Because again, a perfect measure of a project that's ongoing is to measure how much time you invested into the project. So a great way that you can do that is also keep track of it through the same feature where you use the timesheet to keep track of your hours. Now again, as an owner and a partner, you actually don't get paid because you own the company. You can take money away from the company at any given point. But if you do need some kind of means to get paid and validate yourself for receiving a check from the company, you can actually invest and record the time that you invested and bill your customers for that particular service and have the customer reimburse you for that. So that can be true, right? You can have customers actually pay you for services as an owner, but once again, you can't really have the company pay you for those services because you own the company. You could take money whenever you want. So in this context, I'm going to show you how, for this case, we're going to have an owner. His name is Jamal Williams. We're going to go ahead and add him in there first because right now it's only focused with everybody else except for the owners itself, because the owners, there's not that much you can really do in regards of transactions except for yes, except for just like very minor things such as taking money away from the company or adding your own money back into the company. So in this case, we need to create the owner first. So we're going to do that by adding him in the list. Now, I have a question for you. What list does the owner belong to? Okay? Does he belong to the customers list? Does he belong to the vendors list?
Other name list?
Other names list, yes, right? Because he doesn't fall under the category of a customer. Obviously, he owns the company, so he can't sell products to himself. He could just take them. Other things too is that he's not a vendor. He doesn't provide the company any products, and nor does he work for the company. So in this case, he's going to be under the other names list, right? So other names list is going to be a list that is going to be people that are involved with the company, but that do not fall in any of the categories of a vendor, customer, or employee. So these could be your family members, right? If you need to put them in here, right? Family members, owners, partners, right? If you have if this company is a partnership, then you could put the many partners as you need in here. So then you have the means to either contact them, or if they need to distribute their profits to each other, then that's what you're going to do. So first thing first, we're going to add a name in here, and we're going to add the owner, Jamal Williams. So just like how you can add any other account, go down to the window below and click on new. All right. So as we have here, the name is Jamal Williams. So once again, this is what's going to appear on the list. So I want it to appear in last name first. I think it's Jamal. Okay. And then company. Once again, his company is Imagine Photography. Okay. Is he a Mr. or Mrs.? In this case, he's a Mr. Okay. First name, Jamal. Middle name is not required. Last name, Williams. Okay. contact, nothing. Phone, nothing. All that's nothing, okay? Including email address or account number, right? You don't really need anything there. Now, this one's supposed to be the same address as the company. So I guess it's 123 Main Street. I think it's in Pleasanton, California. 956
94588.
94588. Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Good. So that's all you need to add there, right? Right. You could put the actual owner's like legitimate address on here if they want a means for contact or needs to send something to them. But once again, him and the owner and the business are one. So we're gonna treat this as everything's gonna go straight to this address, and I'm gonna click OK. All right, that's all the information you really need. Just because in this case, I don't need to contact him for any of this stuff. So there you go. Now that I created a profile for the owner, I now need to start adding in a timesheet. Okay. So here we are, timesheet, and what we're going to do is it's going to be for Jamal. Now you could look for it or you can actually just type it in. So Jamal Williams. Okay. And what's the date that I have to have it for? Is it the same date? June. So to keep going.
January 13th through the 19th,
Of 2020.
2025.
Yep, just give me a couple more seconds here. Oh, I went too far. There you go. January 25, 13 through the 19. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look. Now, once again, excuse the book. But in this case, let's see what I need to fill in here. So the very, very first thing we have for Jamal is going to be that his timesheet for the very first thing was admin. He did some admin work. So no customer / job, service item, okay? But the note here is that he did some admin work. Okay? And again, class, he didn't work for a particular location, so it's going to be overhead. Okay? Okay, and let's see. He worked for admin. He worked, let's see. On Monday, he did 3 hours. Okay. On Tuesday, he did 2 hours. Oop. Okay, this row is marked as billable. Okay, so that's the error message if you did not uncheck mark that. But in this case, I didn't even finish entering in all my information, but that's okay. Tuesday, he did 2 hours. Okay. Wednesday, he did 8 hours. And then, let's see, Thursday, he did 9 hours, and Friday, he did 12. Okay? 9 and 12. Okay? Right? The owner can choose to work overtime if he pleases, as long as he contributes to the work. All right? And then the next thing that he did here was he actually helped out Miss Maria Cruz. Okay, Maria Cruz. Branch opening. Okay. He did some retouching services. Okay. So retouching photos. Okay. And in this case, it was for the Walnut Creek location. Okay. Billable. Okay, hold on. Walnut Creek location. Okay. And let's see how many hours. He just worked on Monday for 5 hours of retouching. on Monday, and then he did 6 hours on Tuesday, and then he did, oh, that's it, and it's billable, right? So there we have it, right? Now that is how we can keep track of his time, and we're going to be billing Miss Maria Cruz because the owner put in some work into the service, so he needs to be paid for. So in this case, when everything looks good, save and close, right? So once again, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing here, and I'm going to bill Miss Maria Cruz. Okay, branch opening. Once again, yes, we know that she's gone way over her limits, but now under time, here are the time sessions for the retouching package that I am going to have her bill for. Okay, for the boss. Okay, once again, these are set packages. So in this case, for every hour that the boss has contributed to Maria Cruz for retouching, right? It's pretty straightforward, right? $95 an hour. Once again, thank you for your business. Okay, and we're gonna say what it says, 11 hours of retouching services on January 13 and January 14, right? Did 5 hours on Monday, 6 hours on Tuesday. All right, everything looks good. And now you can save and close. Once you get that message where Miss Maria Cruz has gone over the credit limit, that is fine. And save and close, okay? Now, for all those timesheets that we got to take a look at, right? All those things that we've submitted in there, yes, you can absolutely reactivate or rebill somebody for those services again. So, for example, right, we did that for the very first one was for Mike, right? In this case, I can reactivate it by going in and searching for that same exact person. Maybe I didn't bill them right, or the times that, or maybe the person that I was billing, right? I didn't finish their invoice correctly, something like that, or I forgot to add this or forgot to add this. So in this case, I'm gonna have to look up the exact date of that service, and I'm gonna look it up through the timesheet, and I'm gonna mark it rebillable again. So in this case, we're almost there. Okay, there you go, January 13. For Mike Mazowski, I put National Bank. Mike Mazowski, there we go. Here's all the timesheets that we submitted it earlier, right? In this case, I'm going to bill Miss Maria Cruz one more time. Okay, so in this case, and there you go. So now I have that. I'm going to go ahead and submit that one more time or save and close. And now it's going to reactivate and rebill her for this because maybe I made a mistake on the bill. Okay. All right. Once I hit that beep of approval, now if I were to go back into Maria Cruz's bill, it's going to pop up those times that I have to go ahead and, click on to bill her for. All right. So yes, that's the key thing about here is that if you need to reactivate one, just open up the bill and then reprocess it and save and close and make sure you uncheck and then check mark it once again. So then now you're going to actively reactivate that billable feature. Okay. Any questions in regards to just billing time?
No.
All right. So, time reports. Like I've mentioned before, again, all reports are going to be based on whatever position that you're in. So if you want to go see time, or you want to check out your jobs based on time, or looking at that, you just go time by job summary, right? So basically that's going to show you how much time was invested per each job. Okay, I could do that. I could do time by name. So if I go to time by name and I click all, okay, now it's going to show me that Mike Mazowski's been doing a lot of work here. He invested a lot of time. Okay, this is another way that you could also process your payroll as well, seeing, well, how much time did he invest into the company? In this case, he did a full 40 hours this week, or in the week of January 13, right? And here Jamal, he did a total of 85 hours. Okay, so this is where you can do your records keeping and stuff. Once again, time reports are going to be just what exactly kind of information you're looking for in regards to the company. So whatever you find, that's going to be a good piece of information that you're trying to understand, then you're going to use those kind of reports, especially when it deals with time. So time could be anything where you're investing how much time on a project, right? How much time are you investing on a job, which we saw job by time by job. Okay, you can do by name, etc., etc. So there's a lot of things that you can do, but the only thing is that when we took a look at that little feature here, there you could only do about 4. You could do by item, so you could see by how much time was invested by item. So remember, each photo session, the rate on it is per hour. Okay, and so you can only do about 4 reports on time. So again, if it's pertinent to you, then that's when you will run it. Okay, so the last section we have here is going to be the last tab that is on your billable window. Every time you go ahead and bill somebody for something, there's that one last tab that we haven't talked about, and that is how do you bill for time. All right. And the great thing about this is that so many companies nowadays, right? If you're the type of company that travels a lot, or has people or your employees who travel a lot, because the job is locational wise, as in like it requires you to travel from one location to another. So this is a great example, because all of the locations that you want to take a photo shoot at, right? It requires the employees who have to drive to that location to go ahead and, do the job and then call it a day. So a lot of companies nowadays that do have those means of travel can have a reimbursement check for those mileages, okay? Now, this one's kind of different in regards to, once again, this isn't the company that's going to be responsible to reimburse you. This is in terms of taking those mileages and applying it and putting it onto the bill that the customer has to be aware of. Because if this is an on-site location, if it's out of state, you need to pay for the flight. Because why would the company be responsible to fly them out to go to your wedding in Utah, right? You need to pay for that photographer to come out to your wedding in Utah. So that's going to be an expense that the customer is going to be responsible for, okay? And this is one of the scenarios where it is. But yes, if you are choosing to do the other way around, where the company is going to say, hey, I will reimburse you for your miles, then that's just basically, you're just going to cut them a check and you're just going to, put it as a reimbursable mileage expense. That's it, okay? But when it's when you're trying to bill another customer, this is what you have to do. So first things first is we got to make sure that we have a car. So in this case, right, we're going to be adding our cars in here as we go. So you don't have to worry all about that right now. But the first thing you're going to do is, in order to even start or initiate tracking mileages, you're going to go ahead and go into the company. We're going to create the item first, okay? So that we have a item that we can put on to the list, so then we can charge our customers for reimbursing for the mileages. So first things first is we got to create this item. All right, and it's going to be considered an other charge because, once again, you know, if mileage is something that you're reimbursing for, that's not technically a service that you provide. It's going to be considered an other charge. So let's get started with that first. We need to start creating our items first. Now, of course, always you need to make sure that you have those accounts first before you can link your accounts to anything else. So I'm going to just double confirm real quick. Do I have an automobile expense? So I'm going to put auto up here. Let's see. Yes, I do. I do have an automobile expense. And that's the account that I'm going to be linking my my travel expenses to, is this particular account right here. All right. So I do have it. All right. And then now I'm going to go create my item. And once again, I'm going to create my item, okay, as an other charge. Okay. Other charge. And in this case, I'm going to name this as mileage. Okay. Once again, this is going to definitely be a reimbursable expense. So I did mark that, and it dropped down this little extra window here that allows me to link my costs and link my expenses together. So once again, I don't know how much a person is going to drive. So I don't know what the cost of my mileage is going to be. So that one is going to be pre-calculated. All right. Now the expense account is going to be automobile expense. All right. And once again, there's no vendor for that. All right. Then the sales price, once again, we don't know what the sales price is going to be because we don't know how much mileage this person is going to drive. However, I'm going to leave it at taxable because it could be taxable. But I think in the book, it tells you that they want you to mark it as a service. In this case, it's going to be left as taxable because gas or mileage on gas should be 100% taxable, right? So now, the account that we're going to be using is, once again, reimbursable expense account, okay? Because we're going to pay for, obviously, Mike needs to pay for his own gas to get there, and we reimburse him for that expense by charging the customer for that service, okay? All right, so now that I have that, I'm going to click OK. And there it is. I have another charge account for mileage. All right. So now the next thing we got to do is now we can actually start tracking in our miles. And how do we do that? All right, nowhere on the home page. Okay, it's actually going to be under your company menu. All right, and it's down at the bottom where it says enter vehicle mileage. That's the only way you're going to be able to access this. Okay, and I'm going to click on that, and now this window pops up. Now, first off, like I mentioned before, if you are going to be having these services and instead of having your customers provide their own rides, usually a lot of companies, they will buy a specific car, truck, or whatever kind of vehicle to use for the purposes of their company. Now, again, we don't know if Mike is using his own car, but if he is using his own car, we unfortunately have to look it up and add it into this because we need to reimburse his car or for his mileage on there. So in this case, we don't know who owns this, but I'm going to go ahead and click on this drop down menu here because I need to enter in a vehicle. And in this case, here you go. I'm entering this in. All right. And Mike is going to drive a 2024 Prius. Okay. You can add whatever car manufacturing it is, but we all know what a Prius is, right? So what's the description is 2024 Prius, okay? Again, I'm just doing this as an example. That's what the book says. You don't need to fill in as much information as we already know the year. We already know the car model. We don't need to know what exact model or manufacturer, okay? We don't even need to know the color, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. So there, now we've added this car in here, and that's the car that was driven, right? Now, I'm going to go ahead and move over here to the customer/job. In this case, we drove all the way to San Jose for Bob Mason's outdoor photo session. Where is my B at? There you go, Bob Mason. Okay. And what was this item for? His outdoor photo session. Okay. Any class, once again, San Jose. I think my mouse is dying. All right. And the notes I'm going to put here is site visit for photo shoot. Okay. Now that all that details is, so that means I'm going to be billing Mr. Bob Mason for the mileages because I have to drive from Pleasanton, California, all the way up to San Jose. Okay. So there you go. Or I could be driving from the San Jose location to the San Jose. I don't know. Okay. In this case, or Walnut Creek, I have to drive all the way up to San Jose. So here is going to be the odometer that you started with. So this is very crucial because we're not just going to plug in numbers or plug in the miles, right? The way that QuickBooks is going to measure, they're going to measure it by exactly how it's going, it's going to be exact. So if you're going to start the car, right, and it shows up that it is right now at 70, I think it's 70,4042.
75,042.
75,000. Okay, good, right? And then when you come back to the store location, then you're going to determine how much your speedometer or your odometer is, okay? Which in this case was 75,262.
252.
Oh, sorry, yeah, 252, that's right. Okay? And watch this. It's going to automatically calculate how many miles that is. 210 miles that you drove. Okay? So now that we filled this out, right? The next thing we got to do is we got to ensure that the price levels or the mileage rates are correct. And how do we do that? Up here at the very top, you have mileage rates. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. Now, of course, because this QuickBooks was a previously owned company that existed for a long time, all of these are, of course, outdated. So what you're going to do is you're just going to change one of them. Okay? And in this case, I want January 1st of, I believe they said 2025. Okay? In this case, there is no actual year, but this number comes from the actual IRS.gov. So you make sure that you double check and confirm what your mileage rates are going to be because it is a company, or this is for tax purposes to help you once again, figure out depreciation on your fixed asset as well as how much you can actually reimburse up to. All right. So in this case, I have this right here as January 1st, 2025. And the rate here is going to be 0.575. Okay. All right. And then now I'm going to go ahead and click close. So to just double confirm that that mileage rate is there, I'm going to just open it just to double check. So here, if I'm going to be charging my rate, it's going to be for 57.5 cents. Okay. So then now I filled in all this information. I can go ahead and click save and close. Okay. All right. Now I can now finally bill Mr. Bob Mason. So by doing so, I can go ahead and click on my create invoices. And this is how I'm going to be also plugging in all of the things that I am billing Mr. Bob Mason for. Okay. All right. And I whoops. Oh, cancel. I typed in Bob again wrong. B-O, here you go, B-O-B. Okay, there you go. Yes, he has some stuff. Let's take a look now. He's got time. He's got an expense. He's got mileage. And he's got an item. And guess what we're going to do? We're going to bill him for all of that stuff. So now I'm going to go ahead and select every single item on here. So here for all the times that the employee spent for his services. All right, here we bought something for Mr. Bob, okay, for $170. Here we got some reimbursement for mileage because he made us drive all the way out to San Jose location just to do his on-site photo shoot. Okay, and last but not least, items. We want to charge him for this photographer. Okay, he had 15 photographers. So then I'm going to select all of them and I'm going to click OK and watch this whole entire invoice get populated. Okay, so everything's on here. Okay, we got all the items, we got all the expenses again, the markup on the expense. Now, the item that he got was 15 photographers, which is already set, right? We knew that we're going to charge him $125 for each one. All the services are checked, and then the mileage. Let's check out the mileage. Let me see. Let's find it. So, as you can see, right, all this stuff. Are you okay? Okay. No worries. So once again, we have reimbursable group. Okay. Now what they do is they say instead of having total reimbursable expenses, we're going to say total services. Okay, because these are all the services that Imagine Photography provided and Bob is responsible to pay for it. So right now he owes us $23,000. So once again, that's because he wanted the 15 photographers. He wanted us to drive all the way out to San Jose and so on and so forth. And he wanted retouching, whatever, the photo shoots, right? These are all the hours that we spent for the photo shoots. Okay. Let me see. I'm trying to locate the mileage. Okay. Markup total. $210 is the amount of miles we drove.
And it's having 19,000, almost $20,000 on mileage.
$20,000. I'm looking for.
I think the price is too much, no?
Let me. I'm trying to find it right now. Where the mileage is.
It's a bit too much.
20% markup. I don't even see where the mileage is. Where seems to 20, 125, 142 for the specialized film. Oh my. Specialized film, total reimbursement. Here, I don't even see where the miles are.
In the book, it says 0.70, so it's look more normal that for mileage than $95 for mileage, no?
Right now I can't even find where the miles are. I'm looking for it, and I don't see the miles on here. Okay, let me double check that I clicked on
It's a
it.
beginning.
It's the very beginning.
It's a 0.70, a total 147.
Still don't know where you're looking at, guys. I see
It's
this
right on top of the photographer.
Which one?
On top of the photographer.
On top of the
Possession.
photographer.
Possession.
Okay, I see it now. Okay, so in this case, right? This one is saying that is the 200. Okay, I see where it says right here. So 210. So in this case, we're not charging him based on. So in this case, yeah, this one needs to be. It's not $95. It should be. It should reflect as 0. Was it 575? So in this case, the item here.
70.
It says 70, so 0.70.
0.70.
Yeah.
No, without the 5, just 70.
Okay. All right. So there you go. All right, for the mileage, so it should fix that now to bring it down to, there you go, for 147. So I guess I had to put that in the sales form or in the item that it was 70 cents per mile. Okay, so there you go. You have there outdoor photo session. So then again, this is actually supposed to be mileage. I don't even know why it's considered photo session. I think because I didn't toggle the information to say that this is for mileage. Okay, so 200 and, okay, yes. Okay, so 210 miles, right? Site photo shoot for 70 cents each gives you 147. So that's supposed to be, again, this one's it's not supposed to say outdoor photo session. It's supposed to say mileage, and it's supposed to be for 70 cents, okay? So there you go. So now he's dropped down from 20 something dollars to now to $3,000. So that looks more right. Okay. Once again, thank you for your business. And I'm going to go ahead and say photo shoot services. Okay. And now that everything looks good, right? Bill looks good. Date, again, could be whatever date that it's going to be for. So in this case, it's going to be, I think it's February 10. And I'm going to save and close. All right. Any questions in regards to now? We just dealt with the mileage and time and items and expenses. Any questions in regards to all of that stuff? Okay. No? No questions?
I just have one, and in your invoice is the number 112, and in the books is 111. It's two different invoice, or
No, it's just because I didn't process another one. You're supposed to do another Maria Cruz, but I skipped that one and went ahead and went straight to Bob Mason. Okay. Right. So if not, let's go ahead and go over the review questions. Multiple choice. So once again, select the best answer for each of the following. Okay. Number one, in QuickBooks, you are allowed to pass through billable expenses to customers. C, right? If you use the bill, check, or credit card charges, and then you assign it under the customer/job section, and make sure you have that check mark applied. Okay, good. Number two, okay, which account types can be used for the expenses tab or of a purchased transaction to make the expense billable. So again, remember that list of things that you can reimburse for, and the answer is D, all of the above. Yes, cost of goods sold, which is an expense account's an expense account, and other expenses is an expense account. So all of these, yes, are going to be able to be used as a reimbursable expense. Okay. Number three, okay, if you want to assign expenses to a customer/job but do not want to pass through, okay, for reimbursement, okay, do the following in the purchase transaction.
D.
B.
B is the correct answer. Assign the customer, but make sure you uncheck mark or check the checkbox is not marked billable.
Okay.
Okay, so remember, in this case, I set it so then every time I put in a customer, it's going to automatically be checked mark. So in this case, if I do not want to send that bill along to them, I have to manually uncheck it or just make sure that check mark is not checked. Okay? Number four, okay, which of the following tabs appear on the choose billable time and cost window?
D.
D.
D is correct, all of the above. So remember, there's only 4 tabs that you see: items, expenses, time, and mileage. All right. Number 5, okay? In an invoice, you can automatically mark up the pass-through expenses using the markup account option, okay, if it's available in the choose billable time and cost window on the blank.
D.
D, all of the above, right? If it's available for the items tab, the expenses tab, and the time tab. Okay. Number 6. Okay. To track reimbursable expenses in one expense account and then reimburse in another income account, what would you need to do? Number 6. C. Both A and B. So let's see. You're going to select the track reimbursable expense as an income option in the time and expense company settings. So yes, that's the first thing that we did. We clicked that part, and then the next one is going to be associate each reimbursable expense account with the appropriate income account. So in this case, right, if you guys remember, we had to create the account and link it to that reimbursable billable expense account. Okay. So A and B is correct. Number 7. Okay. If you select print selected time and cost as one invoice item, okay, which of the following will be true? D. Okay, so A is all reimbursable expenses will be printed on the single line. So yes, so if you remember that one feature that I showed you, right? If you click on that, put all the expenses line into one item, it's going to cram everything that's going to be reimbursable and shove it all into one line. So all the fees that are in there that are included where you have a markup, it's all going to be hidden under one account. Okay. A group called reimbursable group will be created, and that's right. Right, we got to take a look at that in the previous scenario where we had to go and change it because it shows you at the bottom total reimbursable expenses. Okay, and then C says reimbursable group will be included on the details at the on the expenses that you selected on the invoice displayed. Yes. So once again, that's going to appear. Number 8, two-sided items can be used for
D.
D is correct, right? It could be used to reimburse for a reimbursable expense. It could be used to do a custom order on a particular item, and it could be used for a subcontractor labor. Yes, good. Number 9, okay? For a two-sided non-inventory item setup setup without a specific cost/sales price, how would you record the markup in the sales price itself? C, you would manually adjust the price on the sales form by adding in the markup, and you would use quick math for that. Yes. Almost done, guys. Number 10, to see a detailed listing of all of the billable expenses and items that you have not passed through, okay, to invoices, what report do you need to do?
Is B.
Okay, we want to see everything, including items. So in this case, it would be it would be C, create an unbilled cost by job report. Yes, that way you get to see all the expenses and all the items that you did not pass through. Okay, so this one was one of the reports I did not show you guys. It is in the book, but I skipped over that. All right. Number 11. Okay. Vehicle mileage tracks allows you to A. All right, to track vehicle mileages and post mileages to invoices and to run reports to assist with tax preparation. Yes, that is true, right? That's why I said the numbers that you see on there are going to be through the IRS because it's for tax purposes only. It helps you find a means to depreciate your assets in a meaningful way, but also it also helps you to record those expenses that you could technically write off in your business. Okay. Number 12. Okay, almost done here, guys. Number 12. Before you can use the time tracking feature, you must
A. C is in cat.
in this case, number 12 is correct, is C. Okay, you have to turn on the time tracking in the time expenses preference window. Yes, so you remember I showed you this small part too. In order for you to even keep track of anything, whether it's times for your, your individual employees that did those services, or even if you want to keep track of your owners or partners' time, you need to activate the time in order for you to have the ability to keep the time tracking to record those expenses. Okay. Number 13, if you plan to use the timesheets to create paychecks, you should
B. B.
B, record all of the time for each employee, okay, including the non-billable times. Good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right, because in this case, whoever works there, they don't have to be the person that does the service it themselves. They could be anybody that's doing admin work, right? If they're required, if their job title is a specific item, you need to put in that item in there or put it as a note. Okay. All right, number 14. All right, timesheets provide, okay, the basic information for a job costing, okay, but they do not actually record job costs, okay, and to use the timesheets information to record the job costing, you have to pass through the timesheet, okay, information onto a blank. A paycheck, check, bill, or credit card charges. Yes. Okay. 14 is A. All right, that part I didn't really talk too much about because this part is more geared towards payroll. So we'll dive into that tomorrow and next week. So we'll hold on to this question for later. Okay. Number 15, okay, after you post your timesheets information to a paycheck and then invoice, okay, the timesheets will affect all of the above, correct. Income, yes. Job costing